a lot of our customers really can get a sense that we absolutely love what we do, that we have a real passion for the stuff that they brought in. Over 20 years, a lot of that is very much referral based.
The quickest and easiest way to build trust with somebody is in person, and people will hire people that they know, like, and trust. And so showing up physically in the same space as other people, volunteering, trying to create value, add value in organizations, associations, getting on the board, all of that stuff I think is spot on. If there is some kind of an association that, you know, your ideal clients or some of your ideal clients are a part of, like, get in there.
Beyond, you know, the Google AdWords or the Facebook ads or whatever, like, it really comes down to like shaking hands and actually meeting people. And I know the same is for you. I know you talk about the chamber quite a bit and how, you know, you get a lot of business out of your local chamber. And, you know, same, we host events at our studio, you know, try to get people, as many people there as possible to see, you know, the studio, to see what we do. And so it just kind of comes back to actual people and, you know, handshakes and real relationships. And that's always been for me like the best marketing I've ever done.
On episode 468, we talk about why video transfer services might be the most underrated revenue stream that you're ignoring. We also talk about how showing up in person builds trust faster than any marketing campaign could. And then the counterintuitive strategy of teaching free workshops that lands you more clients. All that and so much more in today's episode. What up, my friend? Hey, it's Ryan, and this is the Grow Your Video Business show, where I'm here to help you build a thriving, profitable video business that doesn't leave you burned out and exhausted, but fills you with energy and all of the money and impact that you could ever have dreamed of. All that and so much more. Yeah. Hey, thank you for being here. It is an honor to do this show, and we're getting really close to my end of year episode. I don't know why I'm pumping it up so much, but it's fun. It's fun to reflect. And I would challenge you and invite you to do the same thing. I do an end of the year episode that will air before the end of the year, but then typically over Christmas, we go on a little vacation. If you're going to steal stuff from our house, that's the best time to do it. No, it's not, because we have a guard dog here who will bite your kneecaps off. Okay, so be warned. Usually on this trip, I try to find some solo time to dream and to think about the upcoming year. So my hope for you is that you would do that same thing. You would reflect and look at the wins, count the wins, and look at how far you've come. What are the struggles, the challenges that you faced, and the things that you might still be in the midst of challenge and struggle, and that's fine. There's so much learning and so much goodness in all of that, because you will come out on the other end and you will be better because of it. I promise you. I have been through so many of these trials and challenges in business, and look at me, I'm still alive and kicking. Okay, I am having a little too much fun, or maybe not enough, but I'm so glad that you're here, and grateful that you listened to the show. And if this is your first one, it's like, what did you get yourself into? Chad is a member of my mastermind. Currently, I've gotten to spend a lot of time with him over the past year, over a year. Love this dude. He's got such a great heart, and he has built a really, really cool business. So he's the kind of guy, he's almost as old as me. Wait, is he a 1 year older than me? He might be wiser than me. Yeah, I said it, guys. He might actually be wiser than me. You're gonna love this episode. Let me just say this before we get into today's episode. If you are not subscribed to my email list, I want to invite you to do that. Okay, this is, if you like this show, if you've gotten stuff out of this show, maybe you've never bought any of my digital products, or you haven't been in my mastermind or anything like that, the least you can do, subscribe to the channel. But also subscribe to my email list, because that's where I recap these episodes last week, I think it was, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I got somebody posted on Instagram that my emails are their favorite emails to get. We do a really good job of pulling apart these episodes and giving you actionable like homework and things to think about and do. But then also when we host in-person events, or when I'm traveling and trying to meet people in different cities, or I've got a master class that I'm hosting and bringing in an expert to talk about certain business aspects that are geared to help you. Those are all of the reasons why I email in to pitch, stuff if we're selling, if we have discounts on whatever things. So come into my email list. It's not all spam. Most of it's not spam. And you can do that by going to studiosherpas.com/newsletter. It's the simplest, most basic. I don't even think you get into a funnel at this point, but maybe you will at some point. And I'll send you lots of resources and things. I've been doing this for 9 years, 460 something episodes. I'm here for you. I believe in you. I believe in this work that we get to do. I mean, it is still really, really powerful work. Even the AI stuff is powerful. I think I watched something the other day that somebody made with just AI, and I was just like getting emotional. I'm like, dang, this is crazy. So the fact that we get to do this for a living and people pay us, it's pretty special. And I want you to be able to build a thriving company and business and do it while maintaining a healthy marriage or relationship, or having a relationship with your kids, and like doing the other things in life that are probably more important than the work that you're doing. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here for the ride. Hope you are too. Okay, that's all I got. studiosherpas.com/newsletter. Go sign up if you're not already. I'm bringing this up because somebody just mentioned in the Facebook group the other day, they're like, I don't get your emails. How do I do? I'm like, how do you not get my what's happening? So anyway, that's all I got. Let's jump into today's episode with Chad Godfrey. Let's go.
What is up, my friend? Welcome to another episode of the show. Today with me is Chad Godfrey, who is the owner of Summit Video Services. Chad, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, how's it going? You've got a really nice raspy voice today. I'm glad you brought that with you. It's amazing.
Yes, there are some words that I can't pronounce currently, but
like word. Words.
Dude, I'm so glad that you're in the Mastermind. It's been so fun to get to know you, get to know your business, and I just appreciate what you bring to our group. I think is unique, and you're just a really good guy that I think you're really encouraging for the group, and I think you're a really good listener, and you've built something pretty cool and successful, and so lots of things that I appreciate
Well, thank
about you.
The feeling is mutual for sure. You bring a lot to the Mastermind as well. Absolutely.
Goodness, I hope so. I mean,
I mean, Sam's pretty amazing, right? He takes responsibility
Obviously.
for a lot of things, but
predecessor.
Yes, right.
So let's talk a little bit about what you do. Like you are not a traditional, video production business, whatever. You kind of have a different niche. So how do you explain what you do? What would you say you do here?
Absolutely. So we are a video production business, but I would say that we are a video production and video services business. So we started, I think it's around the same time, Ryan. I think you started your business around 2004. I did too. So we're 20 plus years now into the business. You still have your hair. I do not, but I did have hair like that at one point in my life.
Wow.
But man, that's been a minute for sure. So, I started my business back then, and I think a lot of businesses at that time, and even going back into the 80s and 90s, did a little bit of what we do now. In that sense is that we do, of course, video production like a lot of your audience does, but then we also do video services. And what I mean by that are like video transfers, audio transfers, photo slide conversions, motion picture. So we do like Super 8 millimeter, 16, 35 millimeter film transfer. And we do it for individuals, but we also do it for a lot of museums, local institutions, National Archives, National Park Service, Smithsonian. So we do a lot of things kind of on a national level, but also, locally as well.
And when you started, was it, hey, we want to film some stuff and make some edits, or were you doing transfer stuff? Like what was the impetus?
Yeah. So I
start?
think when we started the business, I think a lot of, like I said, a lot of businesses were doing that. They were doing video services, but I feel like they were
Yeah,
doing video services kind of as a means to an end. Like they really
yeah,
wanted to do video production, but in order
right.
to put bread on the table, they were, doing these photo slideshows for weddings or converting VHS tapes. And you and I are so old, we probably both did VHS duplications back in the day, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure you were putting weddings on VHS
Oh man.
even in the early 2000s. So that is the kind of thing that we always did. So we did the video production as well. But over time, I just absolutely grew to love that. And we never stopped doing that. In fact, I would say our business is about 60% transfer and archival, about
Wow.
40% video production. And part of that is just because we're really good at it. We really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we get, some national contracts, some good work out of that, and have become really well known in the area for the kind of services that we provide in that area for sure.
That's crazy. It's what's so interesting. A buddy of mine who actually I taught video. He was the first guy I kind of hired when we were filming weddings and editing and stuff. He drove by this place called Troy Video Transfers. I mean, it's this little brick building that's been on this one road for as long as we can remember. And he was driving by. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, that place is still there. I would just assume that the quantity of those transfers and stuff, it just isn't. I mean, isn't everything already transferred over? Obviously that's not the case, but I just even for you to say you're at 60/40, I'm like, how is there that much stuff that needs to be transferred and all that?
It is funny because you would think that exact thing, that we would have reached some sort of critical mass with VHS
Yeah,
tapes or Super 8 film or whatever it is. And what I've found and what our gross sales support is that each and every year we actually get more than we did the previous
that's
year.
wild.
And so it's still there. Of course, some of that retro stuff is coming back, not much, but some people are
Yeah,
shooting back on film. You get, especially like wedding filmmakers are now trying to go back to doing some special effects and type
yeah,
stuff with Super 8. So, we get a few of those clients, but again, by and large, most of the content is, stuff from the 80s or before. And it just, I mean, I think it's just part of the awareness that this is a service that can be done. And
yeah,
a lot of our clients too, when it comes to like individuals, you find that they will come to us when there's a transition. So in other words, they're moving their
yeah.
parents from their childhood home to assisted living, and they've got this box of or
Right.
multiple boxes of photo albums or 8mm tapes or whatever it might be. But we just get more and more every year, and you would think it would just stop, but there's so much content out there. I would venture to say you even have some probably on some of those shelves there in your
Yeah.
office.
Yeah, I was gonna on our last mastermind call. I was like, oh shoot, I do have one mini DV tape that
Hmm.
I did at some point. I took a bunch of stuff to Walmart. I don't hold it against me.
Wow.
But it was just easy to take it, drop it off
No,
there.
you're good. You're good.
So I do have, yeah, I have at least one mini DV tape, and I do have. Don't tell them this, but I got some footage of my friend's wedding back in, I think it was 2000, and I don't know where that tape went, but I think it's on something that I have somewhere in this house.
Mm.
It would be
It's
really
on a
fun
loose hard
to
drive
uncover
somewhere, huh?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, real loose. Well, it hasn't been transferred yet, so it's not on a
Oh,
hard drive
okay.
yet, but
Got it.
would like it to be there. When you talk about, you mentioned that you guys are actually good at the transfer stuff and whatever. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people do business with us, one, because we're local, right? I mean, the local people, right, obviously do business with us because of that. Our competition is basically no one anymore except for like national companies that you can, we all know, you've probably heard radio commercials or seen stuff online or whatever. You ship
Yeah,
a bunch of stuff, all your precious memories in a box, and it goes somewhere, and you hope the work gets done and gets shipped back to you, and you have it in whatever format you requested. That's kind of our competition. Whereas for us, People, they just want to do business with us because they know, like, and they trust us, right?
Yeah.
Part of it is with local folks, they want to know that the stuff is being done there on our premises, which it is. We don't send out anything. So it's just the idea that your stuff is safe, right? Now, that said, people do send us things almost every day from all over the country, sometimes in
Yeah.
other countries, whether it's Super 8 film or old audio reels we got some audio reels from like Visalia, California 2 days ago that were all like audio recordings of someone's family in Portugal. And so all these musicians and recordings are all in Portuguese,
Yeah. Well,
and it's incredible. Like, it's super
yeah.
awesome that I'm really excited to get back with this client and be like, this stuff is so great. And now it's, in high resolution digital audio, and it just it just sounds amazing. So it was in good shape to begin with. But I feel like people just really, they've become known to really trust us, and we get good reviews online, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, even if they don't know who we are, they'll call us out of the blue and be like, hey, I read all your Google reviews. Do you make those up, or like,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
so those reviews really do, stand to bring us in a lot of business, because these are the kinds of things you don't have redundancy, right? You don't have an extra copy of your wedding album.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
that's it. And so it's not
Yeah.
like you want
Yeah.
to, mail that to some place and hope that it gets there and, it's treated correctly. You want to go somewhere that, someone knows what they're doing, and you can trust that they're going to get the work done right.
Yeah. Do you run ads, or like how are you getting work nationally?
Yeah. So we do run some ads, like Google, mostly like Google AdWords is the way we do that. We do some Facebook ads and Instagram ads as well. But by and large, a lot of those are kind of a mix of Google AdWords and then just a lot of like really good SEO optimization, search engine optimization. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's even
Right.
more optimized. It's
Right.
crazy. It's
Right.
like,
Sorry about that. You'll edit that
How
out,
dare
though, of
you.
course.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. No, never leave something like that in there.
Mm-mm.
When it comes to video production, like what gets you excited? What kind of projects do you guys work on? And then for you, like what is the most like exciting, fulfilling kind of work?
Yeah. As far as the video production that we do, a lot of it is documentary style. A lot of our clients are nonprofit organizations. So we serve, you name the nonprofit as, most of them we serve here in the area when it comes to like food banks or clothes closets or, children and youth type things. A lot of those charitable types of groups we serve. Most of them are in the form of videos that they will play at like a gala or at some type of fundraising event. So it's definitely like narrative based, a lot of storytelling type of videos that really tug at people's heartstrings to get them to, open up their checkbooks and donate. So yeah, that's kind of our style. That's our jam. I definitely really get invigorated by those types of videos that make people cry, that, just bring tears to their eyes, that just are like, oh my gosh, this is so great. This service is amazing. I want to give money. And, so I feel, like I said, invigorated by the work that we do that creates dollars and creates services for nonprofits.
Yeah, I love that. As you were talking about crying, I'm like, my eye is like,
I don't know about you, but like, we both have 3 kids, right? And some of them are young adults these days too. And it's like, the older I get, some of the videos and things that we produce, I don't even know the people, but I'm crying. And I just it's, I just can really get into it. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this video is this is so great. Like, there's no way they're not going to make $1 billion on this,
Right.
And before it was just like, oh yeah, I'm just, it's going through the motions. But like, the older I get, the more emotional I get about some of those projects.
Oh my gosh. Well, I remember when we had found out that we were pregnant with our first kid. I was getting ready to go to a wedding, and my wife was like, I want to go to the bar tonight. So I feel like I need to take a pregnancy test. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm going to be here for like 2 minutes. So if we find out we're pregnant, like, I got to kiss you and leave. She's like, no, come on. So she takes the test, and lo and behold, we're pregnant, kiss her, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, this is awesome. And I'm going to work. See ya. I'm at this wedding. We get to the father-daughter dance, and my life flashes before my eyes, 25 years. And I'm watching this dad and his daughter dance, and I am bawling as I'm filming this thing. And just like, oh my gosh, this is the beginning of the end for me.
Yeah. Well, and I know you just had a son that graduated last year. So just going through all the senior things, and it's so much, but it is an emotional roller coaster for sure as a parent. So I'll feel you, man, for sure.
Yeah. What are you building right now? Like, what's your 3-year or 5-year goal with the business?
Yeah. So in terms of like marketing, one of the things that we're really building right now are legacy videos for like lifetime type stories. That's a service that we've always done, but we've never really marketed it, I would say, well. We still get a lot of requests for them. And we get a lot of work for that, but we've never really pushed that specific market. And so I've been really inspired by a couple of people in our mastermind group that are pursuing that. And I'm like, you know what, we do that, but it's just not something that we, actively pursue. So that's something that I think the mastermind has really inspired me to kind of go down that direction. So that's something that we're definitely pushing towards here in this next year or two. In terms of like a 3 or 5 year plan, a lot of it is like, so our studio is in like a downtown district. We're in Lee Summit, Missouri, which is in like Kansas City, proper metro area. But we're in like a really vibrant neighborhood that's a lot of shopping and mom and pop stores and cool bars and restaurants and things. And to be honest, I never want to leave there. Like, it is like the best space after like 4 spaces in 20 years. This is, the best space that we've ever been. And so I have no desire to really move from that space. We have some room in there to expand though, in terms of staff. So, we're a pretty small company. There's only 4 of us counting me. And so, I could definitely see us expanding to at least 1 or 2 more individuals. And, some of that could be overseas as well, like some assistants that can help us, do some administrative things that we're doing in-house right now. So that's kind of the plan, but I definitely don't want to move. We just want to maybe add some more staff to kind of help us with a lot of the workload that we have, because sometimes we're just feeling like we're running behind.
Yeah. Plus you got that new really cool sign, so you
we do we have a really cool neon, like custom fabricated metal sign that is it's amazing. It's like 8 feet wide, and it's incredible. So yeah, we're extremely proud of that. What's that?
Did you get that from Tony?
No. We have a local sign company that specializes in that kind of thing, and they do some amazing work. So we actually got an award, Ryan, for the coolest sign for this year. So in our little downtown district. But
that's so fun.
Yeah, it's silly but fun.
No, take it. I mean, that's great.
Hey, quick timeout. If you're listening to this show because you want to grow your video business, but you feel like you're spinning your wheels, doing everything yourself, and you're wondering why it's not getting easier, listen up. I've been there multiple times throughout running this business. The bottleneck, feeling burnt out, the late night, what's next, panic, what did I forget? That's exactly why I started the Studio Sherpas Mastermind a few years ago. This is a small group of just 12 video business owners who are done figuring it out alone. Some members have doubled and even tripled their revenue. Others have hit over $1 million for the first time in business. In this group, we talk strategy, profit, we go over systems and hiring and mindset, all of the things that actually move the needle. So if you're serious about scaling your studio without losing your sanity, apply now at studiosherpas.com/mastermind. Don't keep doing this thing solo. The climb is a lot easier with Sherpas by your side. Again, it's studiosherpas.com/mastermind. All right, let's jump back into the show.
So being in business over 20 years, what would you say when you look at your own strengths and the things that you bring to the table? Not a lot of businesses can survive 20 years. What would you say, what's unique about you, the way that you approach business? Like, what would you point to that would say like, yeah, this probably helped us be able to get this far?
I think a lot of it is like customer service and really like, I talked a little bit about being emotional about people's products and projects. And I do feel like a lot of our customers really can get a sense that we absolutely love what we do, that we have a real passion for the stuff that they brought in. And I think over 20 years, a lot of that is very much referral based. I talked a little bit about like national advertising and things, but like so much of it is still like referral based. And that's not just local, but like people that are telling, other relatives or whatever, you got to send this stuff here. Or we have like departments of like the Smithsonian or the National Park Service. And there's, however many 400 national park entities, when you count like all the different, presidential libraries and all those things as well. And so we have a lot of those that are telling other departments, other offices to, have their archives done with us. So a lot of it is very much referral based and just trying to kind of go over and above and make sure that we, really over deliver.
Yeah, that's great. I've found that there is some kind of like compounding interest for being able to survive this long, where, occasionally we'll get a phone call from somebody that I talked to like year number one. It's like, oh my gosh. That's really helpful. Brand new business, it's a lot harder to be brand new, right? Because you don't have a deep network. So there is that advantage for sticking around. Okay. You've been in the Mastermind for, is it a year?
Yes. Yeah. Joined at the beginning of the year or back in December. Yeah.
What would you say, what's been your biggest aha moment being a part of this group?
So I think the biggest aha moment for me, one is just love the community. Absolutely. Like everyone in our group is, offers a unique level of services and are just really, really cool. I think the aha moment for me was probably like meetings, like doing meeting with clients and charging for it, like pre-production type meetings. That's something that I know you're a big advocate on. And I've never really, of course we kind of bill all that in, but I don't specifically, reach out to a client and say, hey, let's have a discovery meeting. It's going to be X amount of dollars, just for us to do that. But, and so we've started doing that and it's gone gangbusters, really, to be honest. That's just the kind of thing that, I never would have really thought of doing. I would have just kind of considered it to be, kind of in our pre-production stage, but and I'm sure like you've done some of these meetings and never gotten the work. However, for the most part, we do actually get the work, right? Because they want to continue, they've already made an investment in this, so they want to continue, with the video or whatever it might be. But I have had a few that, they've paid for that discovery meeting. And I think we're still on the books, but not sure exactly when that's going to be. So, by that token, I could have just kind of considered it as pre-production and I would bill it later. But now I've, of course, already gotten paid for it. And I think they're still going to do that work. But, I guess I never really know, but I did get paid for the work that I've done so far. And so that was like a real aha moment for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we keep stressing more and more about becoming a strategist or being a strategist for your clients, especially in the world of competition with AI. And, if we're just pushing buttons, like there's not a ton of value in being able to push the right buttons. But if you can help guide a client to understanding what they have, what the value of what they have is, and then being able to pull out that story and craft it in a way and help them understand, how they could use this and just being more strategic, that is a ton of value. And for those of us who have always just wrapped that into
Absolutely.
all of our services, it's like, well, like at some point, a client's just going to be like, well, we could do that. Like we could, push the buttons, but I don't know which buttons to push, or I don't know why. So to have somebody like us come alongside and to offer that as a service, it really is a valuable service. And I always tell our clients too, like, hey, when we give you the rollout, like we give you the blueprint, I'm not offended at all if you don't hire us to do that work, because we charge a lot of money for this workshop. So I'm making, $500 an hour or something like that. If this was the only work that we did, we'd be rich. This is one of the most profitable things that we do.
It kind of makes you want to just do discovery meetings as a business.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, but yeah, I mean, to me, it is, it's a nice thing to be able to, obviously to charge for it, but I feel like most clients they want to follow through with that. Like if they see the value in doing the discover meeting and seeing what you bring to the table and why you are totally different from another company, they're going to want to, follow through and go all the way through to, a finished product. And to me, it's, of course it's, it's the extra money is great, but it also, I feel like really helps solidify, that project, that they're going to continue to do business with you, versus why would they make an investment in a discover meeting with you and then hire somebody else? They've already have an investment in you, and hopefully through that discovery process, they know your point of difference and really what you're going to bring, which is hopefully, so much more than what they thought of and so much more than what a competitor would do.
Yeah. Yeah. And to clarify, I'm not charging, and I don't think Chad is charging either. I would say a discovery call for me is like the initial 15, 20, 30-minute phone call where we're asking the questions and figure out how we can help them. That's not what we're charging for. What we're going to recommend after that call would be something like a deeper dive, strategic conversation. We call it our video blueprint or our storyline workshop. And that's where we would say, hey, it doesn't sound like you guys are ready to roll. Like, there's more, the script needs to be built out, or a bigger plan needs to be crafted before we hit record on anything. And so if we're going to create that with you, then we would charge this much for that. And that's when the client would enroll in something like that. So don't get confused. We're not actually charging for that initial call, unless, am I mistaken? You're not charging for
No, you're right. I did not say the term video blueprint. I think I used discovery call and I said that wrong. So
because I know some people are going to be like, what the heck? You're charging, just to have a conversation with you? That'll be the day. Also, to your point, when somebody pays for that workshop and that blueprint, it's always easier to get somebody who has given you money once to give you money again than it is to find a brand new client. So to maximize on those opportunities, there is this feeling, this trust factor when you walk a client through strategy and you're trying to understand their story, and you get an hour or 2 hours with them, like you're building relationship. And so that you're building trust, you're building likability, they get to know you. All of those things that we know are so important when it comes to, finding lifelong clients. So the chance of you finding somebody that's going to hire you to do the production and then to do more than just that production, it just goes up exponentially when you get them to pay you money, the first time.
Of course. Yeah. And I think, just to go back on the added value of the Mastermind itself, is here you have like 10 to a dozen other video producers, video production businesses that pretty much do what you do in different areas of the country.
Yeah.
And it's just really incredible. It's inspiring to see what other companies are doing. Some of them are brand new in the business and already just killing it. and others have been in the business for a long time and are struggling, and everything in between. But like, there's a sense of camaraderie. Like, everyone is kind of a kindred spirit in a way, in that, we're all in this together. And, when we have discussions over a particular topic, it's great to just hear everyone's feedback. And of course, we have like a text group as well that is also very helpful. Can be extremely silly, as well. And that's great too. I love that. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many values in the mastermind, and I absolutely love our group. Yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah, I agree. The text thread gets pretty hilarious.
Mhm.
Also very helpful.
Yes,
plenty of times
absolutely.
where it's been very helpful.
Yep.
I'm remembering when you applied for the mastermind and we had our initial like interview call or whatever. I think if I'm remembering this correctly, you were like, yeah, I've been kind of listening. I've heard you have the mastermind before, and I finally figured that this is the time to pull the trigger. For you, what was the hesitation? Because certainly, the person listening to this is like, okay, I've heard Ryan talk about the mastermind. He brings on mastermind members into his into the podcast or whatever. What was a hesitation that you had, and then my guess is, you joined the mastermind, so your hesitation, you overcame it. Is there anything you can speak into there?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't say I really had any hesitations, other than, I feel like I just needed more time to, kind of ingest some of the podcasts and, some of your resources. I feel like probably when I first heard about you was, probably through like a Facebook ad or something. I was scrolling through, and you showed up on an ad somewhere, and I subscribed and just kept getting your emails and podcasts and so forth. I think for me, it was I can't really tell you exactly like what it was that really made me make that decision, other than, like, we all make these New Year's resolutions, right? Like, well, this year I'm gonna double the business, and I'm gonna do this and that. And like, the timing was just really, really good, because like, we all have like dollars at the end of the year that we need to spend,
Yeah.
right? To just lower our tax, um, you know, and so it was just like, this is a great way for me to spend marketing dollars to really increase the business and scale the business. For me, I just probably just needed some sense of validation to just listen to more podcasts and just be like, okay, this guy really is the real deal, and and getting to meet others. So I don't know that I really had any hesitations. I just needed like more validation in the end.
Well, you bring a lot to the group, and I'm so grateful that you are a part. Because we're old, when you look back at some of your journey, if you were to give your younger self some advice when it comes to running a video business, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say, if you're starting a business, I would incorporate like quickly. Like, don't do the Schedule C thing where you're like a sole proprietor and trying to do all this video business stuff on the side. Like, definitely jump in with both feet, incorporate or do an LLC or whatever you're gonna do. For me, it took us like a couple of years to really do that. It just seemed like it was like a pain to do that. And then we got audited like for like a year, early on in the business, and it wasn't really any big
Yeah.
deal. Like, we ended up actually coming out ahead. I was like, if we're going to get audited, I'm going to make money on this, right? I'm going to find every receipt, and I'm going to actually turn in some receipts that I didn't turn in. And so after all that time, I think we made like $100, versus, having to owe like $9,000 at the time of starting our business. And so from that point on, I was like, no, we're never doing this again, with this sole proprietor thing. That the business is separate from me as an individual. And then I think the other thing, and you talked about this in your podcast, with the CPA, is setting up different accounts, different buckets for your money, so that it doesn't all just fit inside like one operating, budget, but you've got, a bucket for taxes, a bucket for profit, a bucket for operating expenses, etc. When you start out in the business, you feel like, I just made $10,000 from this client. Now I have $10,000 to spend, right? And that's not true at all, right? When you run a business. And so you have to systematize that stuff, right? And so I know you do this and I do this as well, so like every week when I do payroll for myself, that certain amount of that money goes into taxes, a certain goes into profit, so that by the end of the month or by the end of the quarter, it's not a big surprise anymore. It is, that money's there because I mindlessly transferred it, automatically through various different accounts within my, business accounts. So, I would have done that earlier. It didn't take me too long into the business, but after a couple of years, I was like, okay, I'm running out of money and I don't have $9,000 to pay taxes, but $400 a week, that makes a big difference to put that in, specific tax account. And, at the end of the month or the end of the quarter, that's just there mindlessly and I can just pay it. And there's no pain involved in that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. That's great advice. A couple of resources. Write these down unless you're driving. Profit First. It's a book by Mike Michalowicz. I had him on the podcast. I don't even know. So good. But exactly what Chad's talking about here, he really lays out. It's for entrepreneurs like us that don't like the numbers, don't like the money stuff, or we're not good at figuring it out or whatever. He has a very easy system to follow so that you don't end up owing tons and tons of dollars for taxes and whatnot. Relay is a great online banking. I think their website's relayfi.com, like financial, relayfi.com. We're switching, we just switched over our operating account, which was the biggest one. And we're kind of running into some road bumps along the way, but we've switched our main banking over here. It's so easy and does not cost extra money to create additional accounts. So we have our tax account. I have my owner's draw account. I have our EIDL that we pay out once a month. And it's just so easy to transfer money. Like Chad's suggesting here, we transfer a few $100 over each week because it doesn't feel, at the end of the month, if I was transferring $2,000 over into our tax account, I'd be like, whew, man, 2,000, that's a lot. And it's like, it'd be nice to just keep that in the operating account. But, $400 a week is like, oh yeah, we could do this. That's not a big deal. And then you get to the end of the quarter and it's time for your quarterlies. And it's like, yeah, I got the money in the account here. We're not touching it. I also, another account that I added that Michalowicz does not talk about, we just call it like our contractor payments account. And so when I book a job and I know that I'm hiring a contractor for that job, I'm taking that amount that I'm earmarking for a contractor, and I'm just putting, once we get the deposit from the client, I'm putting that into that account. Because we've been in situations before where there's one particular job I'm thinking about. It was like a $12,000. I was hiring a contractor, and it was going to cost $12,000 for this person, and we did not earmark it. And when we got that invoice, it was like, oh crap, we ended up having to do a couple of installments because we just didn't plan accordingly. And we just thought like, oh, we got the money in our account. It's our money. And it's like, oh, no. Now, when we know for sure that we're hiring a contractor, we're just moving that money over to that contractor account, which has been very helpful. And then lastly, I think on this whole idea, the sooner you can create a business only checking account and like separate your personal from your work, that your bookkeeper, your accountant, they'll all love you so much more, and it will bring so many fewer headaches and potential issues if you have separate accounts. I just assume that everybody knows this, but I know that that's not the case. So create a business checking and savings account just because it's a good and easy thing to do. And then the other thing about incorporating, we were an LLC pretty much from day one, year number 3, I think, in business. We were doing really well. I mean, way better than we were years 1 and 2. And I also had I think it was like a $10,000 or $14,000 tax bill. And back then that felt like $100,000 tax bill. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay this. Well, I hired a CPA, and that CPA said, "Oh, you just need to incorporate or be an S corp for your taxes." So, long story short, what that meant was we did not have to pay that full tax bill. We were able to absorb a lot of that into the S corp thing stuff.
Yeah, we too are.
So
an
that's
S
how we
corp.
operate today. We're an LLC and we're taxed as an S corp. So I can take owner draws. I get my weekly salary or biweekly salary, and then if there's extra money that I want to take or whatever, then I can just take owner draws, and we're not taxed on the owner draws. So talk to an accountant or something, but that's definitely something. I think the minimum rate, like you should be bringing in like $50,000 or $60,000 a year before considering switching to an S corp if you're not already. But that can really save you a lot of money in the long run.
Yeah. And just to go back on Relay for 1 second, if you are writing checks to employees, or if your bank charges you to, do some sort of direct deposit for employees, like Relay is, that's a free service, I believe, that they can do direct deposits into basically any account, any certainly US account. So that's another really great reason to move over to Relay, is just for payroll and just making payroll a lot more seamless for sure.
The Relay app is so good. It's like, I've been with this one bank it's been around forever.
Yeah.
The technology sucks.
Yep.
Like, their Relay, it's like, they're like, hey, this is what in 2025, this is what we need to be doing. So they don't charge for a lot of things that like a traditional bank will charge for. I both of my guys have debit cards with Relay, and I can set like their limit for how much they can spend before it flags anything. There are just so many cool features, and a lot of it you can run from your phone because of the smartphone app is actually smart. And it's I don't know how they're making money, but it's working out so much so far for us.
Well, Mikelowitz is definitely a genius when it comes to that kind of stuff, and Relay definitely kind of followed his model almost to a T. It was just a really, really cool way to do banking. I mean, it's 21st century real banking. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, love that. Well, this episode sponsored by Relay.
It should be.
Shoot, I missed the opportunity there. What would you say? What's been the best marketing thing that you've ever done?
I mean, I would say still, and this sounds old fashioned, but like still being involved in local groups, whether it's a chamber group or a BNI or some kind of business network or some sort of board, this nonprofit board. Like if you do nonprofit work, you try to get on a board. That's just like, to me, it's still like the word of mouth and personal connections are like some of the best business that I've ever gotten beyond, the Google AdWords or the Facebook ads or whatever. Like it really comes down to like shaking hands and actually meeting people. And I know the same is for you. I know you talk about the chamber quite a bit and how, you get a lot of business out of your local chamber. And, same, we host events at our studio, try to get as many people there as possible to see, the studio, to see what we do. And so it just kind of comes back to actual people and, handshakes and real relationships. And that's always been for me like the best marketing I've ever done.
Yeah, love that. That's great. All right, my friend. Well, if anybody wants to check out what you're doing, where can they go? How do they get in touch?
Yeah. So for us, everything is Summit Video Services, website, summitvideoservices.com, our Facebook and Instagram, /Summit Video Services. So, you can find all of our work there and all the things that we do.
Thank you. Super appreciate you coming on and sharing today. It's so good to have you. How do you want to leave us today?
I think my biggest encouragement for people is to really get out there and know people in your neck of the woods. So in other words, join a chamber group, get involved in a local board or something that will allow you to, talk a little bit about what you do and make people understand, just who you are as a person and the kind of services that you do. There's no substitute for just talking to people and, inviting them to and going to events and, shaking hands, that sort of thing. So I would just say, try to develop relationships with the people in your community, because if I always ask people, how do they know about you? How did they hear about you? If you're not generating some buzz about what you do in your local area, then, you're just not doing enough. So certainly, get out there and meet some people and establish some relationships. I think it's great to have a number of relationships with like-minded businesses or businesses that are similar to you, like graphic design, motion graphics, artwork, photography. All those types of businesses are the kinds of businesses that can refer business back to you. So, get out there and meet some people and start establishing some relationships.
I don't want that to go like, just like, oh yeah, I know that I should probably do that. But the quickest and easiest way to build trust with somebody is in person. So they can really see what you're like. They can understand, okay, this person is kind of awkward and whatever, but like, that's okay. Like that, it's just way easier to build trust, and people will hire people that they know, like, and trust. And so showing up physically in the same space as other people, volunteering, trying to create value, add value in organizations, associations, getting on the board, all of that stuff, I think is spot on how you get recognized as a leader. And, I don't want to say like important, but I remember I was on a board of this event industry thing, and I was on the board, but like I went to a meeting like once a month, and people just looked at me and, they'd be like, oh yeah, like you're like, they thought I was more important than I actually was. But, having a position like that just makes, does something to other people psychologically and whatever. Plus it's good. I mean, it's a way to understand this audience. So like what Chad's mentioning, if there is some kind of an association that, your ideal clients or some of your ideal clients are a part of, like, get in there and get yourself known.
Well, and video is everywhere,
get to
as
know
you know,
people.
right? Like everyone has a phone that can go out and shoot, video or make marketing videos for their business or whatever, right? But sometimes just adding that value, like at a chamber meeting, for example, or teaching a free workshop on, how to get really good shots or how to get good B-roll, or that seems counterintuitive. It's like, you're giving away the farm. But when people can actually see you as a leader in that realm and that you're giving away some of your knowledge, they're going to want to come back to you and, pick your brain some more and, take it to the next level, so it's like, yeah, I know I have a iPhone 17 Pro or whatever, but I really don't know how to use it, or I don't know how to, get this specific thing, whatever it might be. They're gonna come back to you and they're gonna remember you for what you do. So there's multiple times that I can say that we've done these little free workshops for people and just give them a few tips and tricks on how to shoot video or how to edit video or whatever that might be, using, the best camera they have, which is the one in their pocket. And when they get stuck, they're going to come to you and ask you to take them to the next level. And to me, that gives a lot of value to people, and it helps them remember exactly who you are and what you do.
So good. Love that. Awesome, Chad. So good to be together. Appreciate you. And thanks for giving us your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate being on the call and on the podcast. This is just fantastic. It's a real honor. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Grow Your Video Business podcast. If you got something out of today's conversation, do me a favor, share it with a friend or post it on your socials. Tag me at Ryan Coral or at Grow Your Video Business. I'd love to know what resonated with you. If you've got a question or takeaway, drop a comment wherever you're listening or watching this. You can also shoot me a message. I read every single one. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. We've got more stories, strategies, and behind the scenes insights coming your way to help you build a business that you love. Keep creating, keep sharing your story, and keep showing up. I'm cheering you on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.